speaking of the libs, I wonder if you guys saw this. National gas price averages are down, which of course, blanket, that's a good thing. Here was a headline from MarketWatch. Gas prices are headed below $3 a gallon. Why that's not actually a good thing. Danica, can you think of any reason why consumer products being priced so that consumers can actually buy them would be a bad thing in the libs' mind?
I don't know. I think in this one you might have to follow the money. Who is getting the money when the prices were higher? Who's getting
Mm.
who are all these people that were on 150 or $200,000 salaries that end up with 50, 60, 70, 80 million dollars in the bank account? I'm not really sure, but it doesn't really connect. The dots don't connect. Look, what are they going to say next? Egg prices are down, and this is a bad thing. Too many chickens are alive. What's after that? The housing prices are down. People are homeless. There's not a lot of logic. And unfortunately, what we need to do is we need to celebrate when these things happen. As the president has said, this country needs to become energy independent again, which it was under his administration and will be again, and that we have a wealth of commodities here to support this country and beyond, and maybe from Greenland too in the future.
Yeah, hopefully, especially from there. Geographically, strategically, Greenland is a very important place. We don't have to get into that right now. But Savannah, so the argument that they're making in this article is saying, well, when the economy slows, people don't need to drive anywhere, so there's less demand, therefore gas prices are going down, which to me kind of like is saying, well, it's bad if we lock up criminals because then there will be less crime on the streets, which will lead to a lack of police officer jobs. Okay, there's still less crime. That's the thing we really care about. At what point are the libs ever going to recognize, well, these are the things we actually care about and affect our day-to-day lives?
Jobob, listen to me, and I can tell you right now why gas prices lowering is actually a bad thing. And it's because of climate change, right? So if gas prices are lower, then people are going to want to buy gas-powered cars, which is going to be bad for climate change. But wait a minute, liberals are actually currently burning EVs to a crisp because Elon Musk is a fascist. So, I'm having a hard time kind of following the timeline here because we were supposed to hate gas. And, maybe that's why gas prices lowering are bad because people will use more gas because it's cheaper. But then also we're not really seeing a push toward EVs anymore in terms of climate change because the liberals are literally burning down Teslas as we speak. It's just a very interesting time to be alive, if you ask me.
I don't know how I missed. Of course, it's climate change.
Yeah,
Climate change is the
exactly.
problem,
It's
and
always climate
so
change.
it's a diagnose all with the climate change. Speaking of things that libs aren't going to learn on, this I thought was fascinating out of the state of California. The California Senate, on the floor of the California Senate, used to have these 16 seats for journalists to sit on the floor and cover what's going on in the California Senate. Those went away when COVID happened, and then those seats were given to staffers. Up to this point, the California Association of Journalists that they've got there have said, hey, we want these seats back, but they will not, the California Senate will not revert to pre-COVID era seating. Danica, we've talked a lot about the idea that whenever the government does something, it's permanent. That I'm going to forget who said this, but there's nothing more permanent than a temporary government solution. If they're still using COVID era relics now at this point in time, are we ever going to trust them to give up the power and ability that they once had if some other disaster breaks out in the country?
I don't think that we have really seen much from California to develop a whole lot of trust in general. I'm seeing footage from friends and people back in California where they're showing that there's been nothing done from the fires even. So I don't think California's doing a great job. I think they are definitely an example of extreme left and how bad things can get. And so, look, media is totally changing, and thank God for it. I just got off doing an interview with Jessica Reed Krause, who has grown a huge following called House and Habit, and she has a huge Substack following. This is new media, and we're just not going to put up with people that are pushing agendas and putting out there media and news that's not true. So I think we're, as you said, what a time to be alive. We're living in a great era. And I mean, as if we were talking about the fact that California was Republican at one point, and by the looks of it, it's on its way to being Republican again, because I believe they also shifted percentage-wise the most to Republican votes as a state goes. So once that happens, it's red for a real long time.
That'll be super interesting if that happens. Savannah, as a journalist who is known to ruffle some feathers offline, we've talked about how uncomfortable that makes me feel. Your ability
Every
to
time.
just go, go at people in the moment. What would be your response to being barred from covering the Senate in California and all the stuff that they're probably hiding?
Sure. I mean, I can tell you right now why journalists are barred specifically. I just got back from California. And did you know, Jobob, that if you're an illegal immigrant, you can still get free housing, free food stamps, and free medical care in California in 2025? Okay, this is something that's still going on. On top of that, last week, Gavin Newsom's Department of Finance requested a $3.4 billion loan for Medi-Cal, which, by the way, is the free health care in California that was extended to illegal immigrants. This is exactly why journalists are banned, because California is spending billions upon trillions of freaking dollars on illegal immigrants and all of these bad policies. Like, wasn't there supposed to be a high-speed rail in California? Whatever happened with that? I mean, the entire state is in disarray. It's why Gavin Newsom is taking a step toward his podcasting career to try to do damage control, because he destroyed the entire state. And we can't have journalists coming in and try to remind people of how degraded the place is,
To your point about illegals getting health care, that is not true. President Obama said that during a State of the Union address. So, there's no way that that's actually happening. I think somebody said he lied during that speech too, but I don't know. I guess I don't remember
Politicians
that.
lying, Jobob, they would never. Please stop.
Yeah, they would never. Danica Patrick, Savannah Hernandez will be back after this.